Hello, learners. Welcome to the Koala English Podcast. Here we learn simple, practical English for everyday conversations. I'm Caroline. Today we're talking about routines. Small talk can sometimes feel tricky. Many English learners feel this way. For example, when someone asks, "How was your day?" you might pause and not know what to say. The good news is, it's easier than you think. You can start with something you already know very well, your daily routine. By talking about the things you do every day, you can practice English, share about your life, and have more confidence in conversations. So, let's get started and learn how to talk about your day in English. So, what is a routine? A routine is something you do regularly at a certain time in your day. It is part of the pattern of your life. Many things we do every day happen almost automatically because they are part of our routine. For example, you may wake up at the same time every morning. After you wake up, you might brush your teeth, prepare breakfast, and start your day. Later, you may go to work, go to school, study, or do other activities. In the evening, you might relax, eat dinner, watch something on TV, or read before you go to bed. All these repeated actions slowly create the rhythm and structure of your day. Now, it's helpful to understand that there is a small but important difference between a habit and a routine. A habit is just an action someone does regularly. For example, someone might say, "I drink coffee." That tells us about an action, but it doesn't tell us much about their life. A routine gives more information because it tells us when and sometimes how the action happens. For instance, someone might say, "I drink coffee at 7 in the morning while I read the news." Now we can picture that person sitting with a cup of coffee, maybe checking their phone or reading the newspaper. Routines help us describe our daily life in a more personal way. When we talk about routines in English, we usually use the present simple tense. This tense is perfect for describing things that happen regularly. For example, you can say, "I have breakfast at 6 in the morning. I eat lunch at 1 in the afternoon. I go to bed at 10 at night." These sentences are simple, but they are powerful because they show the structure of your day from morning to night. To make your English sound more natural, you can also add words like usually, normally, or often. These words describe how often something happens. For example, "I usually wake up at 7 in the morning," or "I normally eat lunch around noon." You could also say, "I often read a book before I go to bed." Small details like this make your English sound more relaxed and natural. One of the easiest ways to talk about your routine is to talk about meals. Everyone eats, and people like to share what they eat and when. For breakfast, one person might eat cereal and toast, while another prefers porridge, fruit, or yogurt. Some people drink coffee, others like tea or juice. These small differences make conversations interesting because they show how each person's day is a little different. Lunch is also important. Many people eat lunch around 12 or 1. Some eat a sandwich or salad if they are busy. Others eat rice with vegetables, noodles, or soup. Dinner usually happens in the evening when work or school is finished. Some families sit together, talk about their day, and relax. Talking about meals is a natural way to describe your routine. Sometimes we also like to talk about routines we had in the past but don't do anymore. English has 2 useful expressions for this: used to and would. We use used to for habits that happened in the past but don't happen now. For example, I used to have brunch every day. This means it was a habit before, but not anymore. We use would for repeated actions in the past, especially when telling a story. For example, every Saturday, I would meet my friends at a cafe. This helps the listener imagine past events that happened again and again. Routines are also connected to our emotions. Have you ever felt angry or impatient because you were hungry? In English, there is a fun word for this: hangry. Hangry is a combination of hungry and angry. When someone is hangry, they are hungry and also a little upset because they need food. For example, you can say, I get hangry if I miss lunch. This tells people 2 things. First, about your routine, and second, a little about your personality. There are more fun words like this in modern English. For example, when someone is tired and grumpy, people sometimes say they are tyrumpy. A parent might say, I think the baby is tyrumpy because she is tired. Then there's hanger headache, which is a headache because you have not eaten for a long time. For example, I skipped lunch and now I have a hanger headache. Another one is hangxiety, a mix of hangover and anxiety. People use it to describe feeling nervous or worried after drinking. For example, I felt a little hangxiety this morning after the party. A modern habit word is doomscrolling. This happens when someone keeps scrolling through bad news or social media for a long time, often late at night. For example, I stayed up too late doom-scrolling on my phone. Finally, there is brunch, a meal that combines breakfast and lunch, usually late in the morning. You can say, on Sundays, I have brunch with my friends. Words like hangry, tyrumpy, hanger headache, hangxiety, doom scrolling, and brunch show how English speakers combine 2 ideas to make one word. They are fun, easy to remember, and describe real-life situations. Using them can make your English sound modern and natural. Routines also change during our lives. Teenagers might wake up late and skip breakfast. At university, schedules can be irregular and meals happen whenever there is time. Later, when people start working full-time, routines become more regular. Wake up at the same time, eat meals at regular hours, and go to bed earlier. Talking about your routine can show the different stages of your life. It is like sharing small pieces of your story. You don't need complicated sentences to start talking about your routine. Simple ones work very well. For example, I usually wake up at 7 in the morning. I normally eat lunch at noon. I often go to bed at 10 at night. For past routines, I used to skip breakfast. I used to go to bed very late. On weekends, I would meet my friends for brunch. Learning to talk about routines is important because it helps you speak about real life. It is not just grammar practice. When you describe your daily life, you show your personality and connect with other people. It also helps you feel confident when you speak English. Next time someone asks, "How was your day?" you will have many things to say. You can talk about your morning, lunch, or evening. These details make conversations natural and fun. Let's review the new words we learned today. A routine is the time and way you usually do something in your day. Used to describes a habit in the past that does not happen now. Would describes repeated actions in the past. Brunch is a meal that combines breakfast and lunch, usually late in the morning. Hangry is feeling hungry and angry at the same time. Tyrumpy means tired and grumpy. Hanger headache is a headache because you did not eat. Hangxiety is feeling anxious after drinking alcohol. Doomscrolling is looking at bad news or social media for a long time. So remember, your daily routine may seem ordinary, but it actually tells the story of your life. The meals you eat, the things you do, and the people you spend time with all share your story. Now you have the English tools. So today wasn't just about learning words like routine, brunch, or hangry. It wasn't just about understanding used to or would. It wasn't just about memorizing simple sentences like, I usually wake up at 7 or I eat lunch at noon. It was about something deeper, something personal. Talking about routines teaches you more than grammar. It teaches you how to describe your day, how to explain what you do, how to share your life in simple, natural English. Because routines are not just routines. They show who you are. They show your habits. They show how you spend your time when you say, I usually have breakfast at 7, or on weekends, I meet my friends for brunch. You're not just talking about meals or times, but you're sharing your life. You're giving a little window into your personality. You're connecting with people through everyday conversation. And when you start noticing your own routines in the morning, at school or work, in the evening, you begin to use these words naturally. You become the kind of speaker who can explain small details clearly and confidently. So this week, pay attention to your daily habits. Notice when you wake up. Notice what you eat. Notice the little things you do that make your day yours. Try saying it. I normally wake up at 6. I often read before I go to bed. On weekends, I would meet my friends for brunch. See how simple and personal that feels. If today's episode helped you feel more confident talking about your daily life, please like this video so more learners can find it. Share it with someone who wants to speak natural, everyday English. Subscribe to the Koala English Podcast for weekly episodes that help you grow step by step. And I'd truly love to hear from you. Finish this sentence in the comments. My daily routine is because make it personal, make it honest, make it yours. Thank you for learning with me, and I'll see you in the next episode.